like I said in the thing there, I don't get any real satisfaction from the owning of things. It's the building of things that I get the satisfaction from. So it makes sense for me to do that over and over again, even though it seems like it may be counterproductive. I mean, okay, let's look at it from my fairly recent history. Before here, because I'll talk about this because it's documented on YouTube. Before here, I was in another house, and I was in a two-car garage, quite a bit bigger than this thing. And that thing started out as being just a casual place for me to do stuff in, to a shop that I actually, I finished the walls on the inside. I put a ceiling in. I didn't go to the extent of changes that I did here, but I did a lot of work there to improve the shop. And when I got here, I did exactly the same thing. I mean, this used to be just a garage with nothing on the walls, no ceiling, no nothing. And I took it from there and I built it into this. So this is progress, even though I may, take a step back every once in a while to demolish something and then rebuild it. But it's all for an improvement. You mentioned a few different things in the video there. One was the dust collector. And the conclusion that I came to after buying the dust collector and then modifying the dust collector is that I really don't need a central dust collection here in my shop. So I owned up to that and I got rid of it. Even though I put a lot of work into it in a couple of different instances, I said, you don't hold on to something, flawed just because you have time put into it, or at least I don't anyway. You mentioned the air cleaner that I built before from a fan, and the fan was something that I bought for inside my house, so it's going to put it in a window. Well, I have been putting it in a window to, draw air through the house to keep it cool. But it was just too loud and noisy, and you couldn't really turn it down, so I said, I'll cut my losses and I'll turn that into an air cleaner. Only problem is that type of fan, it would keep up with the normal activities I have happening here in the shop. But whenever I'm doing some heavy cutting, I need more capacity, and that's what this thing is right here. So I scrapped the other fan and I built this one instead. And then probably one of the biggest ones, and the one that you didn't mention, was my big router table, which was built after another big router table. And of course, that's like the table saw. That's not my first router table either. I've built, I don't know, maybe as many as 15 router tables over the years. But if it's all, part of the progression, it all boils down to this one right here, which is undeniably my best build yet for the small shop. It's funny that you mentioned the box joint jig, because it was working on that and making the improvements that I made to it to make it more buildable, that I started thinking about building a box joint jig of my own. And that was a whole other progression of, several different models in between until I finally came up with what I think is the best at the end. And even now, even today, I'm thinking about a different model, a new one, something that works differently. And I think it'll be an improvement on the last one.